What's up everybody, how's it going? It's Burke, aka Dansg08 here, and this is a very special video that is dedicated to the moderators of my 24/7 Final Fantasy stream. The story of how we met with these guys and how we formed this team and how we moderated the stream and how we all became friends was something that's been so special to me like over the past 10 months that I really feel like they deserve their own video in order for me to tell you guys a story and for you guys to put a face to some of the names that you're seeing in the chat and to know a little bit more about them. So to start with, I will tell the story of how we created the team and the circumstances around that whole thing happening, and then I'll give you guys like a little biography of each of the mods so you can get to know them a little bit better outside of what you've already seen on the live chat in the stream. So I'm hoping that you guys have already seen the stream story that I uploaded like a little while back, where I told the story of how I created the stream and the more technical side of things, who helped me do that, where did I get the inspiration from, and all that kind of stuff. If you haven't seen it already, I'd recommend that you go and check that out before watching this one. But with regards to this video, we're going to be talking about the moderator team and how that whole thing happened. There were a lot of things that I couldn't predict about the stream. So, you know, how it would perform in terms of views, would it get any ad revenue, would it get any donations, would people even enjoy it, could we create a community and all this kind of stuff. But one of the things I never really considered or thought about too much was the whole moderation thing. And, you know, did I even really need moderators? Would I be able to find moderators? Would they be like good moderators? Would we get on with each other? All that kind of stuff. So the whole moderation thing was something that wasn't really something that I planned too much. I was very focused on like the technical side, like how do we make the stream work? You know, are people going to watch it and all that kind of stuff. So what happened was we started the stream. Of course, I made a video to let people on the channel know that this was something that I was doing and to hopefully get as many people as I could to watch like the first few days of the stream, to get an idea of what it was all about and to slowly start building the community that I hoped it would become today, basically. So the stream began, and personally I think we got off to a really good start. Like the numbers that were watching the stream, the chat that was going on, the technical side of things was holding up. It was a really like successful start. I couldn't have really asked for too much more. I think maybe we were like 110, 120, 130 people on the first day, which were really good numbers. Like it was probably a little bit more than what I was expecting. And the chat was going really well and all that kind of stuff. So initially when it came to the stream and the whole moderation side of things, I thought I could kind of get away with not really moderating it that much because I'd done a series of streams on Twitch before, and I think I had like one moderator on Twitch, and she was awesome, like Tara. I'm gonna give you a shout out later on anyway, but Tara was really helpful during the Twitch streams. But I felt like, you know, maybe I'll have like one or two moderators, but there's the whole Nightbot thing, and you can remove, like you can automatically flag certain words that you don't want to be used in the stream and all that kind of thing. So I didn't really think that I would really need a team of people to moderate this stream or anything like that. So I just kind of went in, kind of just winging it and just, you know, being in the chat myself, basically self-moderating the chat at the start. I thought at least while I'm there, you know, I know that the chat is going to be fairly well moderated, and while I'm not there, you know, Nightbot and all this kind of stuff, probably it should be like good enough to just keep the stream rolling and hopefully just build something up like that. So it was day 2 of the stream, and I've been trying to spend as much time as I can in there so that, you know, we can get the numbers up, we can get the community feeling going, people can interact with me, ask me questions and all that kind of stuff. And everything was going well and the chat was lively and all that kind of stuff. But I started to realize that this probably wasn't going to be sustainable in terms of moderation, because the vast majority of people that had entered the chat, even to this day, like 10 months on, the vast majority of people are really, really cool people. And, you know, I've not really had that many problems with people in the chat, considering the kind of thing that we're trying to do here. You know, it's very liable. You can have like bot accounts, you can have trolls, you can have people spamming, you can just have nasty like assholes that are coming to the stream to cause problems for others. But it had been going pretty well. But I've thought to myself, like, in the long term, this is probably not going to be that sustainable, and it's likely that I'm going to need moderators for this stream. A quick note on the moderator thing, maybe like a year and a half to 2 years ago, I decided to have some moderators for the channel. Now, I wasn't too aware of this whole thing, like, you know, you can have moderators that can review your comments and they can delete comments and all that kind of stuff. But I was going through like a bit of a phase where there was a lot of like, for some reason they come in clusters, these kind of things. There was just a lot of like hateful, like annoying comments, a lot of spam, a lot of really offensive comments and all that stuff. And I just got a bit tired of it. And I was like, you know what, maybe I can have like a team of moderators that are people who are regularly watching my videos, that can potentially go in there and remove some of these comments for me. And that's why I think maybe like 2 years ago, I made an announcement. I said, does anyone want to be a moderator for the channel? There's no like, as long as I know who you are, like I recognize you from comments or from social media or that kind of stuff, I'm cool with letting you be a moderator. I ended up with something like 10 or 15 moderators, and I thought maybe this would be like some kind of help. I mean, if they can remove even 20% of the annoying comments on YouTube, then that's a bonus. So there were moderators on the channel before I did the stream. So when it comes to the moderation thing, it's like two different groups. We have, on the one hand, the OG moderators, like moderators that I assigned like 2 years ago for the channel, most of which are either completely inactive as moderators or they're just like not really viewing the channel anymore. And then we have the stream moderators who are, you know, day-to-day dedicated mods that are in the stream and helping me like maintain that whole thing. So there's two different groups. And I realized quite quickly that I was going to need like a dedicated group of moderators for the stream itself. So the mods that I already had for the channel were not going to cut it. I needed people that were willing to come to the stream regularly, to be a part of the community, and to try and help me like maintain this whole thing. So the hunt for moderators began. Now, this was something that was quite difficult for me because on the one hand, I wanted to take the whole thing seriously. Like I didn't want to just assign moderators just because they wanted to be a mod like that. I didn't feel like that was enough criteria because, I mean, mods are quite powerful. Those of you guys in the stream will know that mods are powerful. If they want to ban you from the stream and basically stop you from being able to comment on there again, they have the power to do so. So you need to pick people that are gonna represent your channel well. So, you know, you're trying to build a community, you're trying to run things as smoothly and create as good an environment as possible. You want people that are going to be good representatives of your channel and your stream. And you also want people that are going to be smart enough and mature enough to make the right decisions when it comes to how to moderate a stream. So it's not really as easy as it sounds. So for me, one of the most difficult things I think was trying to get a read on who my potential moderators could be, because, you know, this is the internet. Anonymity is very high. Like a lot of people can completely hide their identities. They can hide their names, they can hide their faces, they can hide their age, they can hide their background. You're not gonna, if they don't want you to find out too much about them, you really can't find out too much about people. So when it comes to trying to pick moderators that are gonna potentially be here long term and be a face for the stream, it's like you need to be quite careful with who you're picking and who you're gonna let into this quite select group. So it was a difficult task because I had to basically monitor the stream. All I really had to go on for a lot of people was, A, do I know them from before? Because obviously, as I've said a lot of times over the history of the channel, I try my best to read every single comment, every single like tweet that someone sends at me, or like email that I receive, or like, you know, any other form of interaction that's possible with the channel. So when that happens, you start to recognize names. So when you have people that regularly like your tweets, or that regularly tweet stuff at you or comment on your videos, names start to become familiar. And that was one of the things that I was looking for. Like, do I know this person from like the YouTube comments and all that kind of stuff? That was one of the first things that I knew I could use to kind of decide whether these people would be suitable to become a mod. The second thing was to just try to get a read on what kind of people they were based on how they were typing, the topics that they were talking about, like the words that they were using, anything that I really had to go on based on the text that I was seeing coming from them in the live chat, because I don't really have much else to go on in terms of picking someone to be a moderator. Again, it's difficult because text can be very deceiving as well, because I know from myself, like when I was like 13, 14 or something like that, I'm pretty sure that just in terms of what I could write in terms of text, I could probably fool a lot of people into thinking that I was an adult when I was like 13 or 14. And in my head, one requirement that I had was I don't want any kids moderating the stream, because I feel like that level of responsibility is something that needs to be given to someone that's above a certain level of maturity. Now, of course, there's a lot of smart and mature kids out there, but just as a general rule of thumb, to be safe, I didn't want any kids to be involved in the whole moderation process. And that's difficult. You don't know, like, who is a kid? That person could be 14 or that person could be 45. And it's very difficult to get a read on which of the two it is. So the more time I spent on the stream, the more chat that I was reading, the more I was starting to believe the fact that I had a genuinely really like cool group of viewers that were really dedicated to watching the channel, to the Final Fantasy franchise, to the community and all that kind of stuff. So that was making me feel a lot better. So once that started to happen, I figured, okay, it's time to try and pick some moderators that I think can help me with the stream. So to the best of my ability, I decided to start picking moderators, and I'll go into like why I picked each moderator when I'm talking about them. But just in general, I picked a crop of people that I figured might have a chance of becoming a good team of moderators in the future, but there were just so many question marks, and I wasn't like supremely confident that this was all going to work out. I figured there's a chance that a lot of these moderators are going to give up within a week, or there's going to be like some huge conflict between the moderators. They're not going to like each other. They're going to make like big mistakes that's going to cause me to kick them out of being moderators and all that kind of stuff. So I wasn't really like that confident about the whole thing, but I figured, you know, there's something that if it does work out, it's going to be great for the stream. It's going to be great for me. So let's give this a go and see what happens. The moderators had been picked, and part of me was like, yay, we're done. We picked the moderators. We got the team. Excellent. And then I was like, well, hold up. On a technical level, your stream is not reliable right now, and you're probably going to need a way to make sure that all of these moderators know what they're doing. We need to establish like a set of ground rules. We need to find out who's in what time zone, like have we covered enough of the bases here? We need a way for us to communicate with each other so that we can pass on information, so that I can give them information. They can tell me if there's like some technical issue with the stream, so I can go in and sort it out, etc., etc. So picking them was only the first step. We had to figure out a way to communicate and to become our own team, because just a bunch of moderators that had been picked with no real way to communicate with each other outside of the live chat in the stream is not really a team. So then was the process of trying to become a team. At the time, I was trying to think of how I could make this happen, and obviously my mind went to things like WhatsApp groups, Facebook groups, and all that kind of stuff. But on the other hand, I've always been fairly private. I've been quite wary of these things. I didn't want to give people my number or anything like that. I didn't want to create a WhatsApp group, and I wasn't sure that people wanted to share their numbers with each other either. So I thought that's not going to work. And then they offered the suggestion of a Discord server. Now, Discord is something that had been pitched to me like numerous times, and I'd always stayed away from it, but I wasn't really that well versed in what it was. So I kind of learned a little bit more about how Discord worked, and then we were like, okay, let's create a Discord server just for the moderators so that we can form our own little group and we can all chat to each other and we can run the stream through our communications on there. So that's exactly what we did. We created a Discord group, and I think at the start there was maybe 12 or 13 of us in there at the same time, and we all kind of jumped into this Discord group, and that is when the fun truly began. So then came the first day of the Discord server. Now, once I created the Discord server, there was a whole bunch of new situations and questions and potential issues that started to run through my head, because I'm a chronic overthinker. And when I created the group, on the one hand I was really happy, but on the one hand I was thinking of so many different things that could potentially go wrong, things I need to consider, things I need to work out, etc. And one of the main things that I had was, at the end of the day, okay, these guys kind of know each other through the chat. Like, not every single moderator knows every other moderator. So I was like, how friendly should this group become? Because on the one hand, if this just descends into just like banter, then that's not going to be very effective in terms of like the nitty-gritty of actually running the stream. And I want to maintain like a level of professionalism that if we have as a moderator team, we can bring that to the stream as well, and the stream will be better for it. So on the one hand, I was like, how professional should I try to keep this? And then on the other hand, I was like, well, these guys are all completely volunteering right now. They are basically helping to do a job for the channel. I obviously cannot pay them because there's like 12 or 13 of them, and the stream doesn't earn enough to pay for one of them. Like, if we treated this like a job, then the stream can't even pay for one of their salaries, let alone a group of 12 people. So that wasn't going to happen. So I was like, where is the balance here? Because I need to maintain some level of like, I need to be the moderator of the moderators so that we keep everything in check. But on the one hand, this is a voluntary thing. People are having fun. They want to do this because they're enjoying it. So we need to find a good balance between keeping it professional and also making it a fun experience for the moderators involved. So one of the things I will never forget when it comes to the Discord and the moderator team was the first day of the Discord server that we created. Again, I had questions in my head about who these moderators actually were in real life, how they would get on, and what the situation would be. I mean, I didn't know everyone's ages. Like, I didn't ask for like some kind of application form So on the one hand, I was trying my best to kind of not just do it on a whim and think about who I was choosing as moderators, but there was a chance that someone who could potentially be a good moderator actually ended up being like 16 or something. So if we ended up with a moderator group that had too big an age gap and we had some people under 18 and stuff, I would have to change some things around, etc. There were just too many questions and too many unknowns at the time. So my logic was to say, let's keep this professional, let's only keep this Discord for chat about the actual stream itself, technical issues, moderation issues, and all that kind of stuff. Let's use this as a place to have that kind of communication. The more banterous, fun conversations, you can have them in the live chat anyway. We don't really need to have them here. So one of the first things that I shared on the Discord was, guys, let's keep this professional. Let's keep this like business only. We're only going to be talking about stuff related to the stream and like potential issues with the stream and moderation, etc., etc. So, of course, I said this, and then I was like, I tried my best to kind of maintain that a little bit. But obviously, soon after I said that, we had to play the whole game of everyone getting to know each other, because if we're going to be a team, everyone has to know who everyone is, because you can't have these like super anonymous types and all this kind of stuff. So then the questions began. So everyone started asking each other, so where are you from? What do you do? How old are you? Because not everyone had revealed all that information in the stream and all that kind of stuff. And from there, of course, once this started to happen, I started to truly get to know my mods for the first time. And this was the part that started to really blow me away with regards to the story, because at the end of the day, I have no experience in stream moderation. I've never moderated anything in my life. I've never met a moderator or anything like that. So in my head, I had this picture of who I think would have the time and who would have, you know, the resources and the ability to moderate the stream on a regular level. Now, I'm not going to share what that image is in case like that offends some people, but I think you guys know what kind of image I'm talking about when it comes to what I was expecting of the moderator team and who I thought, what kind of people I thought they were more likely to be. So anyway, once we started to get to know each other, I started to realize that this group of people that were voluntarily helping me run the stream just out of the goodness of their own heart and just because they wanted to support the channel were a completely different bunch of people to what I was expecting. They were scattered all over the world. Like, we have moderators from the US, the UK, Holland, Malta, Vietnam, and Australia at the time. We have moderators from both sexes, which I think is another bonus as well. It's not something that I deliberately tried to set a quota on, but I was lucky enough that the people that I chose to end up becoming moderators, it's a fairly well-balanced thing in terms of the sexes as well. And I think it's made the team better for it. We're a more well-rounded and balanced team because we have these guys becoming a part of it as well. So once I started realizing how cool these individuals were, then even for myself, I was like, damn, I kind of want to get to know these people a bit better, because I want to know, in my head, I just constantly had the question of why, why are you guys volunteering? Why are you guys willing to put in all of this time and effort to support me on this? Because I just couldn't fathom that people, especially people that were in full-time education, people that have full-time jobs and all this kind of stuff, the fact that they're still willing to make the time to support something that you're doing that's purely for your own entertainment. I mean, let's be real, the financial gains made from the stream are being paid to me. They're not receiving any financial payment for this. So in my head, I was just I just could not grasp the fact that these people were willing to help me to such an extent. And obviously, as time went on, we got to know each other better. We got to share more information. As the days and the weeks went on, people got curious about what the other moderators looked like. So we started sending each other photos of what we looked like. That increased the level of bonding even further, because you could put a face to what you were reading. So this kind of snowballed into just daily, hundreds, thousands of messages between the moderators, and we were all having a great time. Whenever there was something going wrong with the stream, they would contact me. So it's I had this little group of people just scattered all over the world that were quite literally just helping me run the stream. So I'd be off doing something else, I'd get a notification on my phone, oh, the stream's dead, or there's been a skip in the stream, I've got to go in and fix it. We had Topher, who is my Australian friend that helped to set up the stream, and he was our tech support guy. So I had this network of people that were helping me run the stream. So there'd be a problem, they'd tell me, I couldn't fix it, then I'd go to my guy in Australia to see if he could fix it. It was like this crazy thing where like none of it existed like a month ago, and suddenly like I have this daily thing where I'm just like constantly trying to maintain and improve this stream. So it was just an insane experience, like the way everything just snowballed, and like the way we all became friends and we all got to know each other, and collectively keep this stream going and to keep improving it was just something that's been one of the most amazing experiences I've ever had on YouTube. Because I mean, when it comes to YouTube, obviously the content speaks for itself in the sense that I've always been very independent. You know, I even play single player games. I don't even play multiplayer games. So you don't really hear anybody else's voice on my videos. You don't see anyone else's face. No one else edits the videos. No one else plays the games. It's just me. And for that reason, like to be able to do something on YouTube that's been much more collaborative and that's required the help and assistance of others has been really rewarding for me, because I've got to meet so many cool people as a result of doing this and form good friendships that it's been probably the most rewarding thing that I've done ever since I started the channel. And here we are 10 months later with pretty much the same group of moderators that we started with, and you know, we all get on great. We're basically, obviously we're all just friends at this point. Thankfully on a technical level the stream is running a lot better, so we don't have as many like stream related conversations as we used to, but now and again we have difficult people coming onto the stream. So in a Discord we discuss like what to do and all that kind of stuff, and there are the odd technical issues that we need to fix and all that kind of stuff, but just in general, even 10 months later, we're all still going strong. We have a great time together. I've met one of my moderators and I'm planning to hopefully meet another one in May. I'm trying to potentially organize more meetups in the future so that we can get to meet each other, but geography is a very difficult thing. So, you know, it's something that is hopefully going to be addressed in time. So now I want to draw your attention to the t-shirt that I'm wearing. It says Spira Unplugged, and Spira Unplugged is what we decided to call our group, because obviously at the time when we came up with the name, it was Final Fantasy X only, the stream, and we figured that it might be a cool name to put, because the Discord was kind of everyone just kind of letting loose and just having fun and just basically being unplugged from the stream. So in that sense we decided it might be a cool name to have for the stream. And obviously we have the Waka glare as a bit of a meme here, and I decided to put that on the t-shirt as well. So the story of the t-shirt is that I wanted to try and motivate the mods to try and have something to aim for and some way of like celebrating the success of the stream. And back at the start, I think our record was something like 110, 120 viewers or something like that. So half jokingly, I kind of threw out a statement saying that if the stream gets to 1,000 concurrent viewers, I will organize a meetup and we will celebrate the fact that the stream has reached 1,000 viewers. Obviously this generated a bit of a buzz like among the group, but time went by and we quickly realized that 1,000 was going to be very difficult. And obviously there's a reason why I picked a number like 1,000 for something that was going to be such a big reward, because getting 1,000 concurrent viewers on a stream for a channel my size, and for a stream that runs 24/7, it's not like some one-off big event that's got a lot of promo and all that stuff. It was always going to be very difficult. And I think our record was something like 120, and it was clear that like we're not going to be reaching 1,000 anytime soon. And I wanted to do something else, because I felt like these guys are putting in time and effort. We've built like a good team here, and I really enjoy like their company and the fact that they're willing to help. So let me try and find a way to reward these guys for what they've done for the stream so far. So I lowered the requirement. I said, let's make it 200. I said, if we get to 200 concurrent viewers, then I'm going to be making you guys a moderator t-shirt. So we're going to have like a team jersey, and everyone's going to have their YouTube names on the back. And that'll be like a cool, like special, unique item for moderators only to have, and something for you guys to remember the stream by as like a little memento. So everyone, obviously they loved the idea, and we were all excited about it. And again, kind of we waited, and you know, the numbers were not reflecting it once again. We're not going to get to 200 anytime soon. I think as of today, our record is 180, which is really good, but we still never reached 200. So once I realized this, I was like, let me modify the pledge again. Once we are 3 months into the stream, so once we have our 3-month anniversary, for those mods that are still here and that want a moderator tee, I will be making you guys and sending you guys a moderator tee. And that's exactly what we did. So I created this t-shirt and I put everybody's names on the back and I shipped those out to all of the moderators. And every moderator now has one of these Spirit Unplugged tees. And for the most part, when I'm showing you guys what the moderators look like, it's going to be them in their moderator tees. So that's the story of the tee, and you'll be seeing a few more of those as the video goes on. But it was a really nice little time for me because I got to give something back to the moderators that had been so helpful to me up until that point. I wrote them like a little postcard with my Ayeron artwork on it just to give my thanks and just to give them like a little something to remember like this whole crazy journey by. And once that was done, like that's been like one of our first milestones, and hopefully like for the year anniversary we'll do a little something as well. So as always, I've rambled on too much, but I did want to tell the story of how I met the moderators and, you know, how I was just blown away by how awesome a bunch of people they were, how we formed the team, and, you know, the moderator teas and all that kind of stuff. So I wanted to make sure you guys got the full story with me and the moderator group that we have. So now it's the fun part where you guys get to meet the moderators. You get to put a face to the names for the most part, and you will get to know a little bit more about them by the end of this video. So let's get cracking with the moderators. I'll preface this segment by saying that I wanted to do it in alphabetical order so that there's no like particular favoritism order here. I always try to treat my mods equally so that there's no like favoritism, because they've all made a pledge to try their best to help the channel, and after 10 months they're all still here, so I feel like they all deserve like the same level of appreciation and the same level of time on this particular video. So we're going in alphabetical order. So the first moderator of Spirit Unplugged is Ammo. And Ammo's biggest claim to fame, other than being a Spirit Unplugged mod, is his majestically epic beard. So that is Ammo's, like, you know how everybody kind of has a defining characteristic? Ammo's is his amazing beard. So that's the first thing. Like once he sent his photos to the group, we were like, whoa, that is a hell of a beard. That is awesome. So Ammo is from the UK. He's studying maths and physics at university. He's a final year student, hoping to do like a master's or get an internship and all that kind of stuff. So he's a bit of a brain box. Ammo is not someone that I knew from YouTube in general. Like I didn't know of him from social media. I hadn't seen any comments of his on any videos or anything like that. He is one of those people that I discovered through the broadcast of the stream. But for the first couple of days of the stream, I saw that he was fairly active. He seemed to have an enjoyment of Final Fantasy X. He's got Thought Patrol as part of his name, which I thought was really funny. So the first couple of days when I was in the stream, Ammo was there quite frequently, and he seemed like quite funny. He was well spoken. Even though like his name had Thought Patrol, I thought like at first glance it was funny, but I was like, is this guy really going to be like a good mod? But I thought at the end of the day, he's got Patrol in his name. Maybe he's also good at patrolling comments in the live stream as well. And as time went on, like over the first couple of days, I think it's worth a chance to see if this guy is interested in being a mod. So he ended up becoming a mod, and he's been here ever since. So that is Ammo. Next up, we have Artemis. That's his YouTube handle. He's from Vietnam. His real name, he didn't send us a voice recording of his real name. It's one of these ones where I don't really know how to pronounce it. It's written Suong, but I'm not sure how accurate that is to how it's pronounced in Vietnam. But Artemis, aka Art, is one of the OG moderators. So I mentioned some moderators that were a part of the channel moderation team before the stream started. And Artemis is one of those few moderators that were part of that original group, but that also kind of followed through onto the stream and decided to help continue to support the channel and to be a moderator on the stream. So Art is someone who is studying law and business at university in Vietnam. He's in his final year. It's been a pleasure to have him, and it's nice to have someone that has had such a long history with the channel, because aside from being a moderator, Art is someone who I've known through like Twitter and through his YouTube comments and all that kind of stuff. So as someone who's such an old fan of the channel, it's nice to have him be a part of the moderator team. So that is the story of Art. Next up on the list is Dream Squeeze, aka Dream. Dream is from Las Vegas in the USA, and she is someone who does her own YouTube content and her own streams. She's quite active in the Smash Brothers community, and she also gives guitar lessons as well. So she's a bit like me in the sense that she does quite unconventional jobs, and I hadn't known Dream at all before the stream. I didn't know her on social media or on YouTube or anything like that. But for the first few days of the stream, I saw her hanging out. She seemed like really funny, really interesting. She knew her Final Fantasy and she seemed quite friendly with people. So I thought that Dream would be a good addition to the stream. And we've had some pretty funny conversations on Discord and all that kind of stuff. So Dream has a little bit of a meme about her distaste of lemons. She's known as the Lemon Queen. So if you guys ever see her in the chat and you want to mess with her a little bit, just talk to her about lemons or call her the Lemon Queen or something like that. And already from the first 3 moderators I've shared, you can see that we have a really eclectic, different group of people. So I've mentioned the UK, Vietnam and Las Vegas. And all of these people are just completely different from each other in really cool ways, and they all bring something unique to the table as a team. And that's something that you just cannot predict would happen. And it's been just so cool to see and meet all these people from different walks of life. So that is Dream. Next up, we have Meister Erica. She is from the US, she lives in Pennsylvania, and she works as an administrative assistant in a cybersecurity law firm. So she's got a bit of a badass job. And she is someone that I knew from social media and from YouTube before this whole thing got started. So once the stream began and I saw that Erica was there, she was chatting with people frequently. And those of you guys watching this who have chatted with Erica, you will know that she's really bubbly, really friendly. And for me, Erica was one of the ones that I could decide fairly quickly because I knew her from before. So like how I knew Art from before, I also knew Erica. And once I spent a little bit of time observing her communication, all that stuff, I thought, Erica is a no-brainer. So she became a member of the team, and she's even got her own meme. She's got her own thigh meme where she accidentally banned someone from the chat when she dropped the phone on her thigh. So she will always have that little meme as well, which is quite funny. She definitely knows her Final Fantasy. She is a big fan of Final Fantasy 15 and will defend it to the death. And she's just a great person to have on the team in general. And that's Erica's little story. So next up, we have one of 2 Erins that are on the moderator team. This is Erin _, I believe that's her YouTube handle, Erin _. Used to be theoriestodust, and she is someone who came into the moderator team later on. So she's one of 2 mods that were not a part of the original mod team. We met Erin through her viewership on the live stream because she's another one. I didn't know her from social media or from the channel, but once she started visiting the stream, we really enjoyed her company. She was really funny, really friendly. She knew her stuff, and she was a great contributor to the live chat and to the community. That reflected in the fact that she fairly quickly won Viewer of the Month. She's one of our previous Viewer of the Month winners. There came a time when I decided that we needed a little bit of extra support for the moderator team. And there were a couple of names in my head that I wanted to add, and Erin was one of those. So when I asked her if she would be interested in being a moderator, she jumped at the idea and she graciously accepted. And since then, she has been a rock solid member of the team. We've really loved having her around. So when it comes to her mini biography, she's from New York. She works as a sales and inventory manager at a Barnes & Noble store. And the most important thing you need to know about Erin is that she loves high pillows.
Oh, boys! Advertising is our specialty. We'll get you your spectators.
Next up, we have the second of our Erins, who is Tonberin on the stream. Erin is from the US. She lives and works in Virginia, and she works in the accounting and finance department of a big firm out there. Alongside her day job, Erin also enjoys writing, and she has had a few of her articles be published on a mental health website as well. And her path into the moderator team was a little bit funnier and a little bit different to some of the others. Again, she was someone who was very frequent at the start of the stream. I didn't know who she was. I hadn't seen her across any of my YouTube or social media or anything like that. But she seemed like a nice, friendly person. She was contributing a lot to the chat, and she seemed like she had a good head on her shoulders. And time went by, I think maybe it was 2 or 3 days or something like that. And I'd started to assign some moderators to the stream. And something happened where Erin wanted to share something with the rest of the chat, but only moderators can post links into the chat. And she was like, yeah, but how are we gonna, how can I share this? Because I can't post links. And I think at the time, because I was still trying to build up the mod team, I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'll make you a mod. You can post whatever link you want to post, and then I'll unmod you once you're done. And well, I made her a mod. She posted the link, and afterwards I was like, yeah, what the hell? You can just be a mod. At the time, I didn't think too far ahead in terms of oh, we'll have the Discord group, we'll have this, we'll have that. It was just one more mod. She seems like a good person. What can go wrong? And luckily, she didn't prove me wrong on that front, because she is a good mod. and she has been a good member of the team. And she has her own little Tonberin meme because she's a tiny person. I think she's literally about 5 feet tall. So she's got the Tonberin meme because she's quite small and quite deadly, and it's even reflected on the back of her shirt as well. So that is Erin's story. Next up we have Indubitable Wordsmith, aka Josh, and he is someone that I knew from the channel before the stream started because of his love for Final Fantasy XII. So any of you guys that spent any time chatting to him will know that he's really big on his Final Fantasy XII, and that was how I knew him. He was someone who shared a few comments on that playlist and that kind of stuff. Now, when it came to the stream, I was obviously monitoring everything, as I've said, and I saw that Wordsmith was there, and I was like, this guy is big on his Final Fantasy. His name is Wordsmith. Obviously, like, you know, he's someone that is good at communicating, and he's a fan of Final Fantasy. This seems like a bit of a no-brainer to me. And I spent a day or two in the chat, you know, just seeing like the kind of things he was typing, and everything just seemed like above board. And I was like, this guy can definitely be a moderator. And for me, it was an easy decision to make him a moderator. I've never looked back since. He's been a great addition to the team. The thing that surprised me about Josh was the fact that he was the youngest moderator of the team, because especially in those days when he was newer to the community, he was a bit more reserved, and he was even more, I think, like formal in the way he typed and stuff. Like I would have probably said he was one of the oldest moderators if I had to try and guess people's ages. But when we all kind of found out how old everybody was, he ended up being the youngest mod, and he will be turning 21 in July. But one of the coolest things about having someone like Josh on the team was that he was someone who was a lot more reserved, a lot more private, but as time went on, he was more willing to share things about himself, and like we didn't even know his name for quite some time. So now, like, the fact that he's willing to you know, share his name, share his picture with the world, and the fact that he's much more willing to integrate and be a part of the community is something that I've enjoyed seeing from like someone who's brought him into the team. So in that sense, that's been really cool. He's from Louisiana, and he's studying computer science at university on a full scholarship because he's a very, very smart boy. So that is the story of Josh, aka Indubitable Wordsmith. Let's move on to the next mod. Next up we have Laura. Laura is someone who I knew fairly well from the channel beforehand because she was one of the few people that also interacted with the stuff that I post on Facebook as well. So through that, I knew her name and I knew who she was. Laura is a crew manager in the 999 emergency control room for the fire and rescue department in Yorkshire. So if you have a situation where there's a fire or there needs to be a rescue, Laura is someone that's going to be on the other end of the line, and she's going to be helping to distribute fire and rescue services to help people and to save lives. So she has a pretty epic job. So Laura, a little bit like Erin, was someone who came into the moderator team a little bit later on. They came in together, maybe like 3 or 4 months after the stream actually started. Laura was someone who wasn't really that active at the start of the stream, and maybe if she was around like consistently for the first couple of days, I would have just made her a moderator anyway. But basically for the first crop of mods, it was people that were around quite frequently for the first 2 or 3 days of the stream. And as time went on, Laura started to appear more and more in the stream, and the more we got to chat to her, the more we got to know her, we found out just how fun and entertaining she is. She's really friendly, she's a really nice girl. So when this happens and I meet people in the stream that I think are potentially good moderators for the future, I have like a backup list in my head of like, if I ever do need more moderators, who could these people be? And Laura was one of those people like that was on the backup list. So I remember there was a conversation that was going on about Oren, and she said something that was really funny, but that was a bit inappropriate, about skiddies, which are underpants. For those of you guys that haven't heard it before, we hadn't heard of it before. But from where Laura's from, in North Yorkshire in the UK, skiddies are another word for pants. Now, I remember DMing her on Instagram and just like basically kind of warning her that like, we really love you, you're really entertaining and fun, but like, be careful with the kind of the lines that we have on the stream. Of course, she took it really well, and based on her responses and stuff from that, I was like, she's definitely someone that could be a moderator someday. So when we did need a new moderator, Laura and Erin were my two choices, and I decided to bring them onto the team. And I personally think they were two very good additions, and I'm pretty sure that my fellow mods would agree with this, and they became like a great part of the team and just a part of the family as well. And it's been lovely to have Laura be a part of the stream. So next up on the Spirit Unplugged team is Psych, aka John. Most of us call him Psych, so I'll probably be referring to him as that, but his real name is John. John is from Malta. He has a very cool dog called Herc, which he always enjoys sending us pictures of. And he is studying architecture at university. So hopefully he's going to be building us a mod mansion at some point in the future. He's going to be drawing up the designs and hooking us up with all that kind of stuff. Again, all coincidence, like all these people that are studying maths and physics and working at all these like cool jobs and all this stuff. Most of this stuff I had no idea of when I made these guys moderators, but it's been like a really cool and interesting bonus to have people that are doing such interesting things that we can have as part of the team, and we can all become friends and communicate with each other. Psych is another person who I knew from social media. I think Twitter was where I knew Psych best from. Psych_otic, I think, was his original username on YouTube, but he still uses that on Twitter. He's someone who would like my tweets, who would ask me questions on there, and all that kind of stuff. So I knew him from that. He is a Final Fantasy VIII nut. He loves his Final Fantasy VIII. And again, once the stream started, he was one of the people that I saw on there quite frequently. Again, seemed very friendly, very active, someone that was very willing to chat with people and to make friends and all that kind of stuff. He seemed to have some experience in like streaming communities and that kind of stuff before. So he seemed like someone that was going to be a good addition to the team. And of course, he's been a wonderful addition to the team. He spends a lot of time in the stream. He's someone that's very willing to try and offer up suggestions, to try and help come up with new ideas. So things like the Viewer of the Month thing that we came up with, he was one of the catalysts in coming up with the Viewer of the Month thing. So just in general, Psych has been very helpful to the stream and a great member of the community. So that is his little story. Next up, we have srockt, who is a bit more of an enigma compared to the other mods. Now, srockt's real name is Tanya. Some of you guys would know that, some of you may not, because it's not something that's shared that frequently. Tanya works in the customer services department for a big telecoms firm in the Netherlands. But the interesting thing about Tanya's work is that she's previously worked as a community manager for an online video game in Holland, which was pretty cool. So when I found that out, it was a nice bit of bonus, because she's obviously had experience in managing communities online in the gaming realm and all that kind of stuff. So that was pretty cool to know as well. Tanya is known for her ability to nap at almost any time, at any place. So that's why on the back of her shirt, she's got the sleeping emoji. So that's like her little kind of claim to fame. That's what we know her best for. When it comes to how we met on the stream, she wasn't someone that was very active on the channel. Apparently she'd been watching for a long time, but I didn't know that. When I saw her on the stream and the way she conducted herself in there, it was clear that she was someone that was quite mature, but she was very friendly, very chill. She knew her Final Fantasy as well. She's a massive Final Fantasy IX fan. That's her favorite one. She loves Vivi. And another interesting tidbit is that she is the only moderator that has played every single Final Fantasy game in the series, which I think is really, really cool as well. So don't mess with Tanya. She knows her stuff when it comes to Final Fantasy. A little tidbit about Tanya is that she has two cats called Freya and Fang. So Final Fantasy fans will hopefully recognize those names. And because I helped name one of them, I also became the godfather of these cats. Tanya is also the first mod that I have met out of the group. We tried to organize like a mod meetup for the Berlin Distant Worlds concert. Originally there was meant to be some more of us, but eventually it was just me and Tanya. And we still decided to go anyway because I had a friend that lived out in Berlin as well that I wanted to visit. And we just decided to make it happen. So we met there for the first time, and it was the first like moderator meetup that I'd had. Because we'd already been friends for like 8 to 9 months before that meeting, you know, everything was chill. It was a really good time. We really enjoyed ourselves. It was a really lovely concert. So hopefully we're going to be doing it again in May. And this time we're going to be in London, and Laura will hopefully be there this time as well. So it would be an opportunity for me to meet some more of the moderators as well. And like I've said, over time, hopefully if I get the chance and you know, I have the resources to do it, I'd love to hopefully meet more of them and arrange more meetups between the mods as time goes on. Next up, we have Yasul Leon. Unfortunately, I can't show you guys a photo of Yasul because he didn't want to like reveal his identity. He's the only one of the group that has preferred to remain anonymous, like in terms of like his name, like specifically where he lives, his photo, all that kind of stuff. He's kind of just decided to go that route, which is totally fine. That's up to him. In terms of, we do know that he's from the US and he's studying something mathematical in college. But his actual like interest and passion lies in theatre and acting. So that's the kind of things that he's dealing with. He's not really sure which one he wants to pursue, but one of his main like hobbies outside of like the whole stream related stuff, the gaming and all that, is theatre and acting, which is really cool. So Yasul is someone I actually met through his comments on Final Fantasy 13. If you guys ever watch my LPs for Final Fantasy 13 and 13-2, and if you're the kind of person that reads the comments, like goes through the comments for every video, I am sure you will bump into some comments from Yasul where he's written like 3-4 paragraphs of like lore and story and all that kind of stuff. And it was really interesting to see the kind of comments that he would leave on my videos. So I already knew of him from that, and when I saw him in the stream when we first started streaming, again, it seemed like a bit of a no-brainer because he clearly had a passion for Final Fantasy. He's someone that knew the channel already. He's someone that could string a few words together, and he seemed like someone that might be useful to have in the community. And so I decided to make him part of the team as well. And even though he doesn't have like you know, the photo with the mod team and all that kind of stuff, he's very much a member of Spirit Unplugged as well. He doesn't get a chance to go in as much as some of the other moderators, but it's good to have him be a part of the team as well. So that's Yasul. Last but not least, we have Zachary G. Now, Zach is from the US. He lives in California. He works as a graphic and web developer, so he's in the IT industry. Zach is a father of 3. He has a lovely family, and he is the only moderator at the moment who has children. So he's the only parent of the mod group. I think that's something really cool. As I previously said, and as you guys would have seen up until this point, we have such a diverse group of people there, and to have someone like Zach there who has that unique life experience relative to the rest of us, he brings something new to the table. He's a bit older, he's a bit more mature, he's seen a few more things in life, and to have him be a part of the family as well, it's been a really cool experience. So that's Zach's background. In terms of how we met for the stream, it was another situation where I didn't know who he was. I hadn't seen him before, like around YouTube or social media. But he was there very early on. He was active in the comments, you know, same old stuff. Very friendly, very knowledgeable. He seemed like a sensible guy. And I liked kind of having him in the chat. And I think it was 2 or 3 days, and I think he was there like each of those days. And the time had come to start forming the moderator team. And he was someone that I was looking towards to be a moderator. Now, the interesting thing is that Zach openly said that he wasn't really interested in being a moderator because he thought, you know, I'm not really going to have that much time to be able to interact and to help like maintain the stream and be a part of the team. Now, I was kind of convinced that if I could get him on board, at the worst way, maybe a month or 2 would go by, he'd be like, look, I really just can't go into the stream at all, and I'm not really going to be able to participate. Sorry, and I'll just unmod him. But I thought maybe if he did get to become a part of the team and a part of the community, it's something that he would start doing more frequently, he'd make more time for it, and he'd be able to participate in a more active way. So I decided to take him on anyway, and I wanted to make him a part of the team. And based on where we are now, 10 months later, I definitely think it was the right move, because even though initially he wasn't in the stream as much, more recently he's been much more involved. He's definitely like a part of our family, and because of his IT skills, especially like more recently, Topher has had to take a bit of a backseat. He's not been around as much since like the last 3 to 4 months or so. But having Zach around as a guy who's knowledgeable about IT, who's in that business, it's helpful for me as someone who's, you know, running the stream, to have him support me with the technical side of things as well. So that's Zachary G, aka Zach, and he is the final moderator that is going to be shown today as part of the Spira Unplugged team. Before I round off the video, there are a few other names that were once a part of Spira Unplugged. You know, it ranges between like literally 2 or 3 days and like a few months. But these guys are no longer mods on the stream, but I did want to give them a shout out because they did contribute, especially to those who were there like on the first few days of the stream when we were really just trying to figure everything out and get it all together. I didn't want to leave without mentioning their names at all. So thank you very much to Crystal Daz, Floof Patrol, you Kevin, and Lady Freya for your contributions to the Spira Unplugged team and to the stream community in general. A final note before I finish up. There's a few more moderators that were kind of OG mods, so these guys I made mods like a year or 2 ago. Now, they're not a part of the Spira Unplugged team, but they're still very much you know, in contact with me, and they try to generally like support the channel and do bits and pieces of moderating when they can. So even though they're not part of the core stream team, they're still a part of the Dansg08 moderator team, so I wanted to shout those guys out as well. The first of those is hay.its.ayeron, aka Anthony. Really great guy. I've known him for years, for a very long time, and he's supported the channel in so many ways, and it's great to have him on board as well. So you might see him popping into the stream from time to time. There is Smooch by Fire, aka Tara. She's a really, really lovely lady. Again, another person that I've known for years. She works in the law industry, and she's helped me with like a few legal problems that I've had over the years and stuff. So she's just really lovely. Unfortunately, she doesn't get much time to hang out on the stream, but if you do ever see her, do say hi. She's really, really nice. We have Lucas W, who is another moderator for the channel. Another guy who doesn't really get much time to visit the stream at all, but he's someone who's still generally fairly active on like Twitter and like in like comments in the community and that kind of thing. And last but not least, I'd like to shout out Jeremy B as well. You might see him now and then in the stream. He's the guy who I've mentioned within the context of Bloodborne as well. He's the guy who really wanted me to get into and play Bloodborne. So those are a few extra names for you guys as well. So that's it, guys. Those are the moderators. Those are the people behind the scenes making it happen, helping to make this community the success that it is, and hopefully helping it to maintain and sustain for the long run as well. All I really want to say is that of all the things that I've done on YouTube, and the list is quite long nowadays because it's been almost 11 years now, all of the views, all of the subscribers, all of the likes, all of the accolades, all the comments, all of that kind of stuff is all excellent. And of course, I love that stuff, and it's all a very big part of why I'm proud of what I've done on YouTube. But nowadays, when I tell the story of my YouTube channel, I think the biggest thing that I tell people now, like the thing that I have the most pride for, is the stream and the moderator team that I have built around it. Because as I've mentioned previously, it's so hard to get a gauge on who your followers really are, like just through comments or just through social media or that kind of stuff. The stream has just taken that to another level because I've got to get to know people on like a day-to-day basis. So there's people that I'm chatting to like really regularly. You know, I get to find out more about their lives, like what they're about and all that kind of stuff. And it really allowed me to understand my demographic and the people that are watching my videos and supporting me a lot better. So for me, the dream as a YouTube content creator would be to create the content that I want to create in the way that I want to create it. You know, stay true to who I am, to who I have been this whole time. And as a result of that, build up a group of followers that see me for who I am, appreciate like me and what I do, but also like have a group of people that I would just genuinely enjoy the company of. Because I think there's a difference. You know, there's a situation where you might have a really large fan base, but a very large percentage of those people that follow you, when it really comes down to it, you wouldn't really want to spend any time with them. You wouldn't really consider being friends with most of them. And you know, they're just people, they're just your fans. You know, of course you appreciate them. I'm not talking about that side of things, but just on a deeper level, there's always going to be that divide between you and your fans, because you don't really consider them people that you would mix with in a more real sense. But since I've been doing the stream, and since I've like kind of gotten to know more of the people that follow the channel the closest, I've got to realize that I've been really, really fortunate to be able to get a group of people that I genuinely would enjoy spending time with. I mean, there's a reason why I personally still try to spend as much time as I can in the stream. I chat to people. To be honest, at this stage, it wouldn't matter too much if I didn't really visit the stream anymore, but I genuinely enjoy going in there and chatting to people. Of course, my moderator team, they're like, you know, they're just a group of friends now. And, you know, we talk every single day for the last 10 months. We've always been talking to each other. You know, all of these kind of things have just made me so much more proud and just prideful about what I do on YouTube, because I feel like I've achieved one of the most difficult things, which is to attract a crowd of people who you genuinely connect with and form a community with on a deeper level. So I just want to thank the moderators for that. They've helped me realize that and see that. You know, the day where I said to them, you know, like, don't take this like too seriously. You know, I can't pay you. You know, I feel a bit bad that you guys are putting in all these hours of time moderating the stream, and I can't give anything back to you on a more real level. You know, the fact that all of them basically said that you don't have to give us anything. You're already just, you know, you're creating the content that you create. We like what you do, and we just want to support you. And that was just so humbling, man. Like to read that, and the fact that people are willing to do so much for you just because they enjoy what you're doing. It really just brought it all home, because it's, you know, I'd never gotten it in that particular sense before. So it was an absolute revelation, and I'm just so proud and so happy of what I've managed to achieve and what we've managed to achieve together as a group. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I wanted to make this video to have its place in history on the Dansg08 channel, something that I can go back to now and then, and something that hopefully new viewers will be watching regularly to get to meet the people that help make this whole thing happen. So that's it, guys. Thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. Thank you to my moderator family. I love you guys, and I hope we get to spend many more years together on the stream. Thanks for watching. Take care.